You're on.
Hey, hello, good morning. Sorry about that. My good afternoon and morning for some of you. If you can hear me and see me first before, can you hear now, Christina? Sorry, I had it on mute. So now everyone should be able to see me and hear me. So just let me know. Perfect. Hello, hey Zoe, welcome. Just trying to fix the camera a little bit. Okay, so let's see if everybody, hello, Gabrielle. Awesome. So we're getting everyone coming in right now. So today, before I start, we have a special surprise. We had it last time on our brow lamination where we did a live model. So we're going to do that today too. Hi, Claudia. Welcome. Good afternoon, Anik. So we're going to do a live lash lift. So I skipped out on the presentation, having a presentation, because we've done that so many times. And it's better to do it live and go through the procedures live, and we'll do the question and answer period after. So I wanted to get started right away on the procedures, tips and tricks, and then we can go through any of the questions that you might maybe be struggling still with the lash lift, things about the glue, tips and tricks about the glue, timings and so forth. So we're going to do it all live, okay? So we still have a couple people coming in, but we're going to start doing the prep work. So what's going to happen is that we're going to switch cameras and we're going to switch it onto our model. So before we do that, hello from Dartmouth. I always say that, Dartmouth. I always say that place wrong. Hi, April. So before we start, I just wanted to introduce myself. So for anybody that's new on here, new with the brand or just new with our webinars, my name is Chrissy, head trainer of North America for RefectoCil. I do a lot of these webinar trainings, a lot of in-house trainings, school trainings, and teach professionals all about RefectoCil, the whole line, how to use it. Okay, so I'm happy you're here today. I'm happy you're either interested in using RefectoCil, or you do have it and you want to get back strong now that we're able to go back to work and be able to offer these lash lifts properly. So before we switch over to the model, there's one more thing I wanted to say, because in this webinar, we're going to focus doing a live lash lift because, okay, Marley, oh, the video's still loading. Just got to wait till that loads. Because we have two systems, we have the curl and the lift. A lot of the focus that we get asked on, because the curl has been around for really much longer time, is the lift. So we want to do, again, a live model with a lift, and then further down in maybe July or so, we can do a live model for curl. And just to give you the difference, if you're wondering between the two systems, I don't see video, just have audio. Natasha, what would that mean if they can't see video? Is it their computer? Is it their camera? Do they have a camera on their laptop? Do you have, Sabrina, a camera on your laptop? Or do you just have to enable? You might need to enable your camera for able to watch this. Android phone, I'm not quite sure. That should have showed on the phone.
It's fine. Sometimes they need to
check their settings. Yeah, Sabrina,
videos.
sometimes you need to check in your settings. Okay, sorry guys, let me just troubleshoot this. So Sabrina, checking your settings on your Android phone to see if the camera enabling is on. And then for Marley, is there audio on this video? There's a lot of people who are having trouble with audio. That's weird.
There is audio.
Okay, cool, she found it. Okay, Marley, check. So I have to type this, check your volume settings. So Shelby, okay, perfect. I know the majority said it's working for them. So just let me know again if everybody can see and hear me before we start going to the live model. But what I wanted to talk about was the difference between the lash lift and the lash curl before we get onto the model. Is we know that the lash lift is with our silicone pads. And they have 3 different sizes, small, medium, large, with a little bit of a raise on them. And that's going to help your lashes to do an L shape, to go straight up. And that gives length. When we talk about the curl, they're in a cotton press roller with an adhesive on it and your hair actually wraps around it, half of the circumference, and it creates a shape, a rounded C curl. So depending on what your client is wanting or desiring, a lot of the people who are going to be doing lash lifts were extension users, lash extension users, and they want to give it a break, and they want to maybe bring back to vitality their lashes because there's too much of that glue, too many times doing the lash extensions that they need to let the lashes get back to their vitality and to their strength and having to treat them. They will do a lash lift because that's going to give the length. I find that right now I'm using a lot more curls on the male because males as well might need to have their eyes freshen up a little bit and give a little bit of that alertness instead of a tired look. And just having that right curl where it's not too dramatic, because they don't need it to be dramatic, just enough to widen their eyes. And that might mean you might have to use a bigger roller size just to give that round, but not intense round. Okay, so that's where I'm finding how I'm using these systems. But as I mentioned today, we're going to do a live lash lift. Okay, so let me just see thank you, Caitlin. Thanks for the comment. So it's working for everybody. The AV pod is still spinning for me. Refresh, Marley. Refresh your screen and your volume. I'm not quite sure. I just got my volume to work. If you're having troubles, try going to the confirmation email and click yeah. So refresh or reopen the link again. Okay, perfect. Renee, you can hear. That's awesome. So in the meantime, while everybody's fixing up their settings, we're going to change the camera and focus on our model so we can get started on this live lash lift. Okay. Perfect, Sabrina. Happy to hear that. Awesome. Okay, give us a second. Yeah, it's going to go blank the screen for a moment until we switch cameras from our model, okay? One. You can see the model properly. And our lovely Shannon, we had used her for the lovely brow lamination, and now we're going to use her for the lash lift. So if everybody can see the model properly, perfect. I'm going to head over there while. Oh, you're going to fix that for us? Okay. So we're going to prep. Oh, perfect. Yes. Is that how they're going to see it too? Close up like that? Awesome. So now you can see it much closer. So you can see everything I'm doing. Right now, I am just prepping with my gloves, with our whole PPE that we must do. It's a little bit difficult, but we have to take these precautions. So I'm going to get you to move slightly down. Can you slide a little bit? Perfect. Okay, so I can see your lashes. Awesome. So prep work, very, very important. Even if your client comes without any makeup on, you must still do your prep, which involves your eye makeup remover. I'm going to see if I can get it in there. Perfect. Your micellar eye makeup remover. Amazing for those waterproof mascaras as well. It has lash strengthening properties. So this is a good eye makeup remover to have because it doesn't irritate eyes as some other eye makeup removers might. But because it's lash strengthening, I like to also use it when I'm removing bleach from the brows. I do it with this after to clean it because it strengthens the hairs after done that stripping of color. So amazing eye makeup remover. So we're going to prep her lashes. Perfect. And we're going to clean them nicely. As I said, if they don't have any makeup, if they don't have any mascara, they might tend to have maybe powder as well in the area. So We want to make sure that there's no powder there. Nothing is on those lashes. And because we're going to isolate the bottom lashes as well, so they don't get brought back up, I need to make sure that this area here where my pad's going to rest is clean. Okay, my black silicone pads. Perfect. Okay, so we've done that one. We're going to get the other side done as well. Now, very, very important that when you get your client to come do this service, you have to do your consultation, okay? So if they're a returning customer, then you've had that talk with them, you've had that patch test done, but still with a reoccurring customer, with a returning, customer into your chair, you still got to do a patch test after every so often because their lifestyle can change, they can have some allergies. So every 6 months, I suggest do another patch test on them with the solutions of the lash lift, the lash perm, the neutralizer, and the glue. Okay, but if this is a first customer that's coming to you, you must do 48 hours in advance a patch test. Do not do it the same day and figure out throughout the treatment that your customer's lids are burning due to the glue and might have some kind of cuts into them or some kind of irritation. You need to know this ahead of time. And when they come 48 hours ahead of time, you sit down with them, you do your consultation, you fill in your consent form. After you put the patch test on their inner forearm or behind their ear, and after a couple of minutes, you wipe it off, you send them home, and then you call them in 48 hours. And if all is good, you can get them in for that booked treatment, okay? Very, very important. You're working around the eye area, and we want to take care of our clients. This needs to be a spa-like experience for them, okay? So let's now do our step number 2, which will be our saline solution. So I'm going to show that as well. Very, very, very important. Oh, there we go. Saline solution. Sorry, it's so close up. So it's very important to do this step number 2. It degreases everything, removes even your eye makeup remover, anything that's there, and gives these proper adhesions of the hairs and the lashes. Like you'll have a proper way of maneuvering things because they're going to stick properly. Okay, so I'm going to wipe this as well. Same, I do down and out, sideways. Sometimes you might see some makeup a little bit trapped in there, mascara. Perfect. Okay, we got that done. Now, what we want to do as our next step, now that we've done prep, is we want to isolate those bottom lashes. Very, very, very important because you don't want them rolling upwards and lifting them, and then they are poking into the eye, and it does not look aesthetically pretty. So I'm going to get Shannon to open up her eyes. Okay, I'm going to take it and place it on top of the bottom lashes. You want to close that to rest a little bit. And I'm going to grab the other one. So these stick directly onto the skin, okay? And they are reusable. Perfect. So let me just check the screen. Everything looks good. Awesome. So I isolated the bottom lashes. So Tracy, I'm seeing all these questions that I might miss, but they're laid flat with a little bit of a bump, like I have a little pillow in the back of their neck, so they're not laid completely flat. But some beds you can maneuver up the headrest. Could they be wearing a mask during their service? Yes, they can, because the masks are going around the ear, right? So they're not affecting the eye area. You might have to just lift the mask to put it over the nose again, or right, because you're resting the pads on the bottom lashes, so you need to maneuver those and then put the mask back on. You should be wearing a mask anyways, yourself as a professional, and a face shield, because then that will be even proper protection for your client. Yeah. Will we receive the paperwork? I believe in the link you should be getting the presentation. I put the link in there. If you don't, I will have the email available at the end. Are all these in the kit? Do you purchase separately? So, oh, good. Thank you. Renee has answered the questions for me, so I can get to the procedure. So the kit, the saline solution, the eye makeup remover, and the black silicone pads are not in the kit. They're extra. If you're already using the tinting line, you'll already have these, but they're extra to buy. And the saline solution is must to buy with your lift kit and your curl kit. Okay, it's awesome. We got that down. Now what I'd like to do is grab my wonderful new Browista tool that has a spoolie on the end, a plastic one so you can disinfect it, and has a brush. But what I'd like to do is I want to brush out the lashes just to make sure if there's any clumping together, we don't have that going on. Okay, so separate them. See if you're missing any gaps because they might be hiding underneath. Perfect. We get the other side as well. Perfect. There we go. So once we've done that, now is where we're going to start our procedure, our steps. And it's the glue time. It's not the glue time, sorry, it's the pads. So, well, it is glue time and pads, but I gotta show you the pads first. So here's the silicone pads. A little blurry, sorry. But those are the silicone pads, and I'm gonna be using size small. So you guys can see, sorry about the blurriness, but this bump here, that's where your lash should rest on. The part it's also my gloves are causing the blurry, but this part I'm holding right here, this thinner part, is your free edge. That should not, no lashes should be going onto that. Just this thick portion of a bump. If they're not reaching and covering the whole bump, your pad is too big. Now, I know they should be doing an extra small, but you know, with COVID hitting, everything like that, it's a little bit crazy going on everywhere. So I have to get an update on that, but an extra small pad will be needed. But for those small, shorter lashes, but if your lashes pass this bump and go over to this free edge, that means your pad size is too small. I need to go bigger. It will be a very unrealistic lift, very blunt, and it won't look good, and they're gonna have a hard time putting mascara on. So now we grab our glue, our clear glue. So if you're used to using two systems, the curl, sorry, that went blurry a little bit, but it's clear. The curl glue is white and the lift glue is clear. Do not intermix them because they won't work with the system. The clear glue for the lash lift dissolves really fast so that you're able to have an easy removal time because you're using a lot of the glue. For the curl, you're using very limited, only if the lashes do not want to stick on the roller, because remember, the roller has a pre-adhesive. So try not to mix them, and when you're purchasing them, just be mindful of that. When you have to restock your glues, distributors will be carrying, most distributors, carry both the lines open stock. Sorry, not both lines, both types of glues open stock. Okay. Okay, so let's apply the glue now on the back side of that silicone pad. The camera's a little bit pretty close to our model, so I'm going to try and do this where you can see it. So just on this back side, okay? I hope you guys can see it, and try to get it on the curve part as well so that they don't lift. Okay, so I'm just going to redo that again off camera just so I can see it closer. So I tend to do 2 strokes, one side and one the other side, and getting on the tips as the edges as well so they don't lift. It's really hard to do this with gloves on as they are in the way, but we're going to master this. And I'm going to place it very close to the lash line. Okay, we got that up there. It is pretty challenging with gloves. Let me just try and fix my gloves a little bit better. Okay. And if I want to just secure this a little bit better, I like to use my orange stick. I try not to use my fingers. I want to fix this better. There we go. Oops, sorry. Okay, now we grab the other pad. We're going to do the same thing. So I won't show it on the camera at the moment so that it's not too blurry for you guys. So same thing, 2 strokes I like to do of the glue on the back side of the bump, not on the free edge, okay? And try to get those tips as well, the edges, so that they don't lift up. The worst is that when your silicone pad starts to lift up during the treatment and then your lashes get hidden underneath. It's not fun. I'm gonna have to grab my orange wood stick. I'm a type of person that likes using my bare hand, so it's challenging with gloves. Okay. So I know I can see, sorry if I'm shaking the camera, I know I can see a little bit more skin here. Okay. So once we have that all down there, I like to just one more time brush the lashes again, just in case I did anything and got them attached. So I'm going to go around 1 second. They can't see me. Yeah. Just trying to fix this a little bit here because I can see her skin. I don't want to see too much of the lid. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to put the glue on top of the bump. Okay. Once again, you're going to discover how much glue you're going to need. At the beginning, you might be using more of it. What I didn't explain was when I was putting the pads is you need to wait 10 to 15 seconds for the glue to dry before you apply the hairs onto the pad and the pad onto the eyelid, and before you brush the hairs up onto the pad, because if it's still pretty wet and not tacky, then the pads will pop off, and as well the lashes will pop off. So you wait that 10 to 15 seconds as we did right now, and I can start rolling them. I use my orange wood stick. I use what's inside my kit. You can, if you have other means that you like to use, maybe more multi-use, like not multi-use, like the metal ones that you can reuse again, it's up to you, or the wide combs. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to try and pull it taut. If you want to work in sections, you can. Ask your client, is the pressure okay? Mm-hmm. Perfect. I want to be able to see that water line. Now for her, I'm going to have to put more glue, but the pressure is needed. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, because I can see some in the corners there, and also use a disposable lip brush so you're not recontaminating your container. Okay, so have disposable lip brushes that you can double dip back again, but you have to throw away. Treat it like waxing. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry a little bit because you can see the hairs right here. And then once again, pressure. I'm starting from the base. As I'm rolling, I'm putting pressure. Okay, because you want to see that water line. Why do you want to see that water line? First of all, if I didn't put this pressure and expand the hairs nice and long, I wouldn't get this nice full hair view where I can put the solution appropriately where it should be. If there was half of it down and you didn't get this full length like this, you're not reaching the solution where it should be, which at the end, your results won't be as dramatic. Okay, now as well, when I'm putting the solution, I have control of how close I'm going to the water line, trying and avoiding irritating them. See, because I can see that water line. She has hair that's pretty close down there, so I have to be very careful when I'm applying it here, because the closer you go onto skin, the more irritation they can get irritation, because it's not meant for skin. It's meant to be on the lashes, okay? We do the same thing on this side. Apply the glue, wait for that 10 to 15 seconds. The more glue you put, the more the 15 seconds is needed. Okay, so, no, for me, no, it's good, yeah. Okay, we waited that 10 to 15 seconds. Once again. At the end, if these pads are giving you trouble, you could always take them off at the end. They're right now to hold down the bottom lashes, okay? Put it back down again. Now, if you felt that I kind of need to maneuver a little bit some of the hairs that looked a little bit crisscross, when you re-wet it, you can maneuver better. As well, try not to overly run over the hairs as you're rolling them up. Try not to go too many times up on the same section, because if it starts to see white stringy, like I stopped. If you start to see a lot of white stringy, that means your glue is drying out. And what's going to happen is all your lashes are going to pop off. So you worked so hard to get them down there, but you overworked it. And then when it dries down, all that area where the lashes are will pop off. So re-wet it. So I can see on this side, I need to re-wet it because I just see a little bit of intermixed of the lashes. Okay, so this part, you take your time to get the lashes. But you see when it gets wet, it's easier to work. But once again, you see when it gets white like that, I'm gonna go get my glue again. Okay, so hopefully that part everybody understands, because that's a tip and trick that you need to understand to re-wet it, or else they will be popping off a lot. Okay, so I know I just wanted to separate a little bit. See, they become workable. See how I could separate that when I re-wetted it, and then I can apply the pressure. And the pressure doesn't hurt them, but always talk with your client to make sure that the pressure is okay. Okay, and then here I'm going to, because I can see some here that are popping up. Once again, let it dry a little bit. Oh, what happened? Oh, it's blurry. I'm starting in the middle. You can start whichever area you like. I just like, for me, to start in the middle, and then I work on the outsides. You can cut it into sections and start from the outside. You do 3 sections or 2 sections, start from the outside, then work into the inside. It's up to you. I found when I start in the middle, it helped me. Yeah. So the silicone pad is adhering to the skin. Yes. And I already mentioned about how to choose the right pad. We can ask these more afterwards if I didn't answer it. I am rolling the stick. At the beginning, I'm rolling my stick. I'm putting pressure, starting from the water line. I'm putting pressure and I'm rolling, but I'm pressing as I'm rolling too. It's very crucial that you press at the same time. So hopefully that helped. You're starting in the middle. We've answered that. Perfect. Okay, so hopefully I answered everybody's questions, but you can repeat them again at the end if I didn't when we do the question time. Okay, so now what's very important, which is I have to troubleshoot a lot, is Because the glue is water soluble and it does have an amazing easy removal time, you know, once the water touches, those lashes pop up and your removal time is like 10 seconds. The lash perm solution, when you place it up on there, it's going to break down the glue. So if you don't adhere those lashes properly, you're going to have all the strip of the lashes popping off. To avoid this, you take your glue and you secure. Now, the tips of the lashes, we don't put any solution. So it's good to secure your tip of your lashes. But also, it's good to secure the center. And I'm just dabbing it onto there. Because some of the lashes haven't reached their full growth and won't be able to reach to the tip. Okay, so I did that to secure and protect so that my lashes don't pop off during the lash perm solution. If one or two pop off, that's okay to fix. But if a whole strip pops up, it's annoying, right? You don't want to go back and have to focus on putting all those lashes back up. So right now, this is a tip and trick that's going to help you to have those lashes from popping off. Okay, so secure the tip and secure in the center for those new growth. Other good thing to do is to look at the side of your client and see if you miss any hairs, and I can see. Never look at your client dead straight on. Look at the side, and I can see here that there is some lashes that didn't stick. Now, if I'm going to go back and work at it, I have to make sure to secure again. Okay, so these are very important. They will get easy as you go along, as you start doing more of these. Perfect. So now I'm looking at her from the side and I can see I got them all. Now, because I worked them, I'm going back and just doing that security, and I just dab it. If it gets too dry, just go back. Okay, so now we're gonna do the other side. Tips, the tip and the center, you're going to secure. I'm going to look at the side of her eyes here and make sure I've got them all down. I can actually see in some areas, as I mentioned, try not to look at them dead straight on. Try to look at them at the side. So I can see some areas that need to be secured. Perfect. So now that I got those ones down, now I can secure and do the tips. And then the center. Okay, we let that dry. Don't go right away, put the solution when it's wet, let it dry. And then we continue. So we're going to start with our step number 1, which is our lash perm solution. So here's our step number 1. It is going to say, maybe I have to do it this way, sorry. It's going to say lash perm and number 1. You have number 1 bowl, number 1 brush, number 1 solution, so you can use those with your number 1 so you don't intermix your solutions. I'm going to put a pea-size amount in my number 1 bowl. So pea size varies to everyone depending on the lashes that you have. If they're thicker, if they're thinner, your pea size will vary, okay? Because you want to make sure you have that proper saturation. Then I'm going to grab my brush number 1 and I'm going to proceed to put it. Now, where you're putting the solution in the lash lift is different from where you're putting the solution in the lash curl. The lash curl, you only focus on the center of where that bend is happening around to the roller. So you only put it in the center. With the lift, you're focusing on the center all the way to the water line because you want it to push up. So now you understand why it's important to see visibly that water line, because you want to get as close as possible to that water line so you have that push and they look nice and dramatic. Okay. Tips for either service, like either a curl or a lift, the tips, you always leave them untouched. No solution goes in the tips because they are old growth. They could have been exposed to the sun during summer, and they might have some damage from lash extensions that are growing out, so you avoid that. Okay, putting solution. So you can either dab it diagonally and start from your center and work downwards, but you can see I like to get a little ball, and I like to work it like this. And you don't want to do too much rubbing because that could start to lift your the lashes. And I'm going to try and maneuver a little bit close, but being very careful. Do not rush this step. A lot of times when I do classes, I see everybody rushing them, and I have to go over there and save the poor model because it's irritating, because it's seeped right into their to their eye or close to their skin, and it can get irritating. Okay, so I like to work it on the diagonal. If you're going to work at it like this upwards, you can. Just make sure you have control onto the tips, that you're not putting too much on the tips. Okay, but you see how I'm being really good with the saturation? Perfect. And leaving the tips untouched. Okay, and we're going to do the other side. And now we're going to, if you want to start the timing now and know how much you left on the other side, like control your timing, but you would have to put it on for your 8 minutes. It's 8 and 5 minutes are solutions. They are pretty fast. So you don't need to do it any higher unless they had really thick lashes. What we say is, if the lash lift didn't work on your first try and you had to redo it again the same seating because you don't want to charge your customer if it didn't turn out, you can do it again the same seating, but you got to cut your time in half. So instead of 8 and 5 minutes, it's going to be 4 and 2.5. So what I say that is, if I have a client who has really healthy lashes and they're insanely thick and they're insanely volumed, and I need to do that 12 and 7.5 minutes, then I'll do that from the original time. But if you made a mistake and you had to redo it and cut the time in half, make sure you are correcting what your mistake was. Okay, you don't want to do a double processing and do the same mistakes again. Was it that I didn't secure the lashes down properly? Was it that I didn't choose the right pad size? Was it that I didn't pull them nice and tight, taut? Okay, so I went as close as I can. Now I can already see there's a hair popping up. So I'm going to try and saturate it, because after I remove the solution, I'm going to have to stick it back down. So I can already see there's a section there. Okay, sometimes it happens, it's out of our control, even if we do the best that we can. Okay, so now that I put that, I'm going to start the timing. Okay, I saturated a lot. I'm going to start my timing of 8 minutes. And then I can answer questions. But during this time, you would be in upselling, because you're done the lashes. Now you can work on the brows. We already had Shannon as a model, and we already had her do the brow lamination, but this was a client of yours in the bed and you wanted to upsell. It's a good time right now to be like, I can see I could touch up a little bit your brows. If they're going to do a shaping already, maybe you want to even out the color and let them know. You're there to enhance their beauty and let them know what is it they can do. Okay, so we have the 8 minutes. So let's see now any questions. Give me 1 second. I'm starting the 8 minutes timing. And then we're going to ask the questions. And then ask your client as well, how are they? Are they okay? Shannon, you're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Okay. You need to ask that because their solution is very close to their eye. And don't leave your client. Any of these eye treatments that we do, stay with your client, okay? Very important. Don't go out anywhere, because I've heard stories where the professional has left and the client is burning. There's no way for them to call out to anybody. They're panicking, their eyes are squishing, and they're getting it more irritated. So it's not fun getting a solution into your eye, okay? So let's see. I feel you should be using a disposable glue wand. Yes, you have disposable mascara wands, okay? And they look like I have them on the other side, but they're not mascara wands, sorry. They're disposable lip brushes that you have to use, okay? So and you have to find out the lip brushes that fit in. There's some other ones that I've tried, they don't fit into the glue to get the glue out. So you have to use, I use the lip brushes with the sponge tip, not with the bristles, because that doesn't fit into the glue, okay? So you have to check for that. Are you always use the glue to secure it? I guess. You should do this step. You should put the glue on the center and the tip of the lashes always before you proceed with the solution. Because this is going to secure, because even if I didn't, a majority of the lashes will pop up. Because remember, the glue is water soluble. So because of that, the perm solution is actually breaking down the glue. Now that you have that extra security now that we put on the top, when it breaks down that and then it tries to break down the glue that's on the back side of the lashes, it won't have time during that 8 minutes. So hopefully that makes sense of why we do that security. But even though I do that security, some lashes can be very stubborn and can pop off. But instead of having a whole roll pop up, I had a couple on that side that popped off. So hopefully that answers the question. Yes. What if they say they feel some solution? Do you remove immediately, or do they slightly feel it and only remove it? Okay, so if it's new to them, they might feel a little bit of irritation to begin with because of the fumes. But if you've gotten that solution very close onto the skin, or somehow you were very quick and you slipped your brush and you got it into their eye area, what I tend to do, I'm pretty slow at this time to put the solution. I don't rush it. But sometimes you touch a little bit of skin. So I take a dry Q-tip and I hold it to that area that they're feeling irritation, and that helps them. Because the last thing you want to do is you don't want to apply everything over again. So I take a dry Q-tip and I hold it to the corner of the eye there, or to the inner corner of the eye, wherever the solution is, not wet, because you might risk getting the solution into the eye. Dry, dry, dry first, and then after I've done it with dry and there's no solution there and they feel just a little bit still stinging, I do the wet. But I always with the dry, for me it works. And I hold it there until the solution all goes into the cotton swab. If it's intense and they're panicking, some panic and some will start to squint their eyes so hard because they're panicking and they're getting anxiety. You have to work quick and remove the solution. Dry first, take your cotton round and remove it all off, and then do some eye rinses, okay? Can you please review lash pad size to lash length again? Yes, so we have 3 different sizes, small, medium, large. There is I'll show you the medium in the screen. Hopefully it doesn't go blurry again. I think it's because of my gloves. Oh, there we go. So this bump here, it gets bigger to each size. So this is a medium. We use small and Shannon, medium, large. Your hair has to cover that pad bump in order for it to be the right size. If it's not covering that pad and it's going below, it's too big. You gotta get a smaller pad size. If it's going over and touching your freehand part where it's thinner, then it is too small a pad size, and your lashes will look very blunt, very lifted. And the other way around, if it's too big, the lash lift won't happen. You won't see it dramatic. Okay. Let me just make sure why this is blurry. Oh, I don't know why it looked a little bit blurry. It does look blurry. I'm gonna try and fix that. What the color of the lash glue again? It's clear for the lift, white for the curl. The glue types, the clear is for the lift, as I mentioned. The white is for the curl. One is extremely water soluble and can break down easily. The other one does not break down easily for the curl, the white one. And you only use it if the lashes are being stubborn and don't want to stick onto the cotton roller. And you need to put very little of it. The more you put, the longer your removal time will be and the more tugging will be at the lashes. So use very little dots on your orange wood stick of the lash curl glue, which is white. Yes, you get a recording right away afterwards. You get one. How to troubleshoot a solution goes into the eyes again? Yes, I can. Give me 1 second because this is recording and I don't know why it's blurry. I'm not quite sure why it's blurry. Hopefully it looks good to you guys, but when I'm looking into the screen, it looks pretty blurry. So how to troubleshoot if it's still blurry? Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. It's blurry and I can't get it back. I don't know why. I just tried to. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I just don't want it to be blurry for them because it's a recording. I don't know why. Because I think when I put the pad, is that better? There we go. Oh my goodness, so much better. Touch the screen. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, guys, because you're getting it as a recording, so I want you to see it. Awesome. Better. Okay. So my timing is going to be up for her. For the question. So I just got to see the question that you asked me. Sorry, I forgot. Troubleshoot. Okay, so the solution goes into the eye. It's maybe because you went very, very close to the skin area and they're feeling irritation, or you rushed it, and what happened is that you got solution into there. So I take a dry cotton swab and I hold it to that area where they're feeling the irritation. So it might be at the outer corner of their eye where their water line is, or the inner corner of the eye where the water, and I just hold the Q-tip on a diagonal. So I kind of don't want to do it. I can kind of show you after I remove, but I take my cotton swab. So say she was irritated right here, I hold it right underneath like that onto the skin. And what happens is that solution gets onto the cotton swab and then leaves from the skin, and it gives them that alleviation that they don't feel like they're more alleviated. They don't feel that burning. Okay. For me, that's worked, because it hardly ever happens when they do it unless they're really sensitive. They're extremely sensitive clientele. And I do this method, and sometimes I even let them hold it in that area and they get relief. Otherwise, if they're panicking and it's freaking out and they're squinting, the more they squint, the more solution is going to go into the eyes. So then you have to remove quickly. So you have to take a cotton round, remove that solution on her lashes right away, and then take wet cotton pads and rest it onto the eye to give them that relief. And then you do an eye rinse. You'll have to squeeze that water on the side with the head tilted on the side and squeeze cool water into their eye so that everything falls out and there's nothing in the eye. So hopefully that helps with the troubleshooting part. The more slower you are in this part putting the solution, the more taut the eyelashes are so that you can see the water line, the less irritation you'll have, because you won't, because if it's not taut, just imagine if the lashes weren't tight like this and you had to reach underneath and go to the water line and you lift up the lid like this to hold it up, put the solution and let go of the lid, all that solution went to the eye. So that's why I always say, make sure the lashes, you pull them nice and tight so that you can see the water line. Okay. Bianca, it's better now, the blurry. So maybe if you reset your computer, it's better now. Is it still blurry or are we good now? I don't know if I missed. Okay, it was before. Sorry. Okay. We're gonna tint afterwards. So let me just get to the removal time because her time is over. So dry Q-tip and roll upwards. Try not to lift too much the eye, but rolling upwards, okay? It's all good? Perfect. Sorry. Oh, okay, so upwards. And once again, even with the removal time, try not to rush it. Okay, until your Q-tip starts to look dry. You can see that it starts to look not too wet. And once again, if these pads, I can take one off to show you, but if these pads were causing a little irritation, I like to keep them on, but you can either move them down more if you want to see, or you can remove them. Oh, sorry, there goes the camera. I think we made it blurry again. That was me. Sorry, I shifted the camera. Maybe you might do it with your hands because I have gloves on. Give us 1 second just to Perfect. Sorry about that. Okay. So so you'll start seeing your Q-tip is nice and dry, reaching to that water line. Okay. And then we're going to do the other side. I'm just going to leave the other side a little bit, a couple of seconds more because we did leave this side longer. But as I mentioned, if you really want to remove, I can remove the one side because we tried not to get the bottom lashes on there. You can remove it if it's bothering you. I tend to leave it there throughout the whole service. If you feel like they teared a little bit, you can. Oh, you felt it now. Sorry. So see, she felt a little bit of irritation there. I'm going to hold it in there in the inner corner. Shannon?
Yep.
How's that?
No.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get a new. Is in here, right?
Yep.
If I'm doing that, how does that feel?
Better.
Better? So we had a little bit of irritation then because I removed the pad. That's why I try not to remove the pads because on the pads have the solution too. How does that feel?
Better.
Yep.
Yep.
So I just did it with a dry Q-tip. I didn't put any wet, okay? So now we're going to move on the other side. I'm going to get my Q-tips ready. And we're going to do the same thing. Upwards. Upwards motion. And this is the eye that I saw that the lashes popped off. So I'm going to have to inspect that. See it right there. But if you do it in upward motions, all the lashes now, because what's happening now with the lash perm is that we've broken down the bonds in the keratin and in the hair, and we're making it more workable, the hair, okay? So that we can reform it with a neutralizer. So they will fall back down, but I need to secure them before the neutralizer. So that would mean I have to re-glue those hairs that are being a little bit stubborn and they're sticking. But you see, because I put that security, I don't have anywhere else that they removed. And once again, don't rush this step. This pad's being a little finicky. Okay. So now I can totally see my Q-tip is dry. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I have to re-glue them down. Oh, what happened? They got blurry again? Are we fixing it? Yeah. Sorry, we just, because it's once again getting recorded, we don't want it to stay blurry. A little bit up. Can they see though, the lashes? Okay. Touching. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-glue that area. No, we didn't have that problem with the, no. Sorry guys, I know it's not nice when you see it blurry. We're trying to fix that. It's better? Yeah? Want me to go check to see? Sorry guys, okay. Can you guys let us know? I'm just gonna see this, no, it's blurry. It went to being blurry again. Oh, this is challenging. We've never had this happen before.
We did that last week.
Yeah, we did a brow lamination. It was fine last week. That's better. It's a little further away now, but you guys can see that, right? We just had to move the camera a little bit up more, but you guys can see the lashes? Perfect. Once again, I'm so sorry about that. Okay, awesome. So I'm just going to re-glue those lashes. And I just have my small, sorry. I'm just gonna place it, let it dry. I think my gloves are making it become blurry. Sorry, guys. Now she's tearing a little bit, which can cause some like the tearing. So I'm going to remove this because this is going to cause her some, see, tearing. I'm going to take a dry Q-tip and try to dry that area, being very careful. It's okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just dried that area because when it's wet, obviously the hairs won't want to stick. So all I did is I just dabbed glue into that area. And I look from the side and it's fine. And I gotta check on the other side to make sure. I believe she had some, yeah, she had some that came off. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take my either disposable mascara one. Oh, I didn't touch it. I think it's my gloves. And I have to wear gloves. It's concentrating on my gloves. Yeah, sorry guys. The blurriness is concentrating on my gloves. I'm not quite sure why. Yeah, we did. But it was brow, so it was like higher, I guess. And it wasn't lashes. So I'm going to just, while she's fixing that, I'm just going to get some of that glue. Sorry if you're having some issues with the blurry. I'm so sorry. Better? It's two hands, yeah. Okay. Okay, so I re-glued those back down again. Shannon's tearing a little bit, so which means that the tears are breaking down the glue. So if this was a regular customer that you've had, you would want to focus your attention on that. It's a webinar today, so we have to try and do it in that hour, but just try and dry, if they're a tear, just try and dry those tears so they don't reach the lashes upwards and then they start to break down the glue, okay? Not before the COVID. We didn't do it when we did webinars. Oh, sorry. What was the question?
Are you normally wearing gloves?
So wearing gloves, we have to, obviously our PPE is so important right now. We have to wear gloves, like wear masks, have the shields and stuff like that. Prior to COVID, I always wash my hands with soap and water and then put hand sanitizer before I touch my client's face because I don't like using gloves. It wasn't mandatory to use gloves when you were doing these services. Waxing, pedicures, it's mandatory. I'm from Canada, so it's mandatory. But now with our PPE, we have to. I'm just wondering, because the gloves are a false sense of safety. You don't replace gloves. Oh, it's the floor. Maybe if you move the camera a little bit, because it's focusing on the floor. We don't replace hand washing with gloves. That's the biggest mistake that's happening, that people, oh, I got gloves on, I'm fine. And also, if you're using those gloves, same gloves throughout the day and touching areas and touching and cross-contaminating, that glove is not serving its purpose. So you have to remove your gloves and replace them after every customer. So it's very, very important. I try with the gloves to go down one side so they fit more snug. They are pretty tight, these ones. They're pretty tight, but I don't know. I guess we're just having trouble with the focusing of the camera with them. I'm fine with them. I'm using them just fine. I just love to touch skin. I love to feel with my bare hands. So the watering eyes, while she's trying to fix the camera, while we're trying to fix the camera, I haven't proceeded on step number 2. We're just trying to fix the camera and make it less blurry. This is going to irritate you guys as well, trying to see the procedures. But how do you manage the watery eyes? As I mentioned, I took away the black pads because maybe they were just pushing into her eye. And what I did is that I took the cotton swab, and then a dry cotton swab, and I held it to that area that was tearing. So all the water goes into the cotton swab and is not anywhere, it's not dispersing anywhere else, because if her eyes start to get really, really watery, you're going to have lashes coming undone from the pad. So I grabbed that, it's blurry still, sorry. I grabbed that cotton swab and I go right away and I get that, it's blurry still, and I get the wetness gone, okay? I don't know. Oh, wait. Oh, almost. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry this is happening. We never had this happen before. It's always the first. So maybe don't stare too much onto the screen so you don't get a little dizzy. It's blurry still, though. I see it blurry. Let's see. No, still blurry. Is it blurry for everyone on that side too? Oh, it's better. There we go. Oh my goodness, there we go. It's better, right, everybody? It's, for me, I can see it not blurry, so I want to make sure that you don't see it blurry either. Perfect. It's a little bit further now, but I'll talk. It's okay? Okay. Sorry. Oh, you turned down the light. Okay. Okay, so let's start with step number 2. Our watering eyes are contraindication. Sorry, I might have missed. Sometimes the watering eyes might be due to the solution might have seeped into their eye a little bit. So it did happen as I removed the black pad, it got into her eye. So that could be an issue. You could have customers that say that anything they do to their eye, anything, if you bring your tinting brush close to the eye, anything that they see coming close to the eye, they tear. Just some people are like that. So you just have to take more precaution and be very careful with the solution. It's doable. I've done it on people who are very, very extremely teary. It's more anxiety on you as a professional because you have to be, you're on guard all the time, and you have to be careful that it doesn't get into the eyes. So you're extra cautious, but it's doable. Okay, awesome. So let's go to step number 2. Step number 2 is your neutralizer, and we're gonna ask Shannon, how are you feeling? You're okay?
I'm good.
Okay, we gotta check in with our customer there too. We can't forget them. So pea size of your neutralizer. Okay, so pea size, we got our neutralizer. Step number 2, it's white. So the neutralizer is a clear white, creamy consistency. The Lash Perm is a more of a white, a clear, more liquidy kind of the Lash Perm. So be very careful of the Lash Perm. The neutralizer is more stays intact, doesn't get too watery. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing to the center of where it was focused, and in these nice sideways motion, and getting a good amount onto your brush. Okay, we'll get to the tinting part as well, so don't worry. Oh, did it go blurry? No. Okay. Okay, and same area that you applied the Lash Perm should go the neutralizer. If you're putting the neutralizer in areas that you didn't put the Lash Perm, you're doing nothing, because the Lash Perm right now is recreating that new shape. So the hairs had to be broken down, the bonds, with the Lash Perm in order for the neutralizer to work. Okay, and try and go as close as you can to the water line. It's good? Good, still good. And now we go to the other eye, okay? And this step number 2 is 5 minutes. So you can start it now if you wish, or at the end. I monitor my timing when I start it all together, okay? Nice dabs and nice and thick, okay? I see when I do the training that they don't put enough solution. They'll put very little and you don't even see it on there. This is not going to help for the solution to penetrate through to the hairs in that 5 minutes. Okay. Asher, can I ask you a favor if you can just do this 5 minutes? Thank you. Sorry, it's just my phone died. Okay, so I got that on there and we start the 5 minutes. And now I can come and see the questions. that you have. Give me 1 second. I like to go back and see if I have some left over. I like to use all the solution and just go back and see in areas that they might have seen a little bit less. Perfect. So 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to come and see your questions. Okay, what are the questions? So the watering eye, we understood that what you can do, because you will encounter this for sure. You'll encounter watery eyes, either by for me, no, it's good, yeah. You'll encounter watery eyes either because they do water a lot in general, people, or the solution, the smell, the fumes of the solution can make them water. And then if you have gotten into the eyes, okay. The brush, yes, I was using our new Barista brushes. So it's 2 brushes because now the theme is that rose gold and black. So both of our brushes have the spoolie at the end, the plastic spoolie, so you can disinfect, clean and disinfect. This one is a more longer, straighter edge for like brows, but then you also have a more blunt one like this, a more thinner one for lashes. So when you're tinting too, if you're really scared to work around the eye, this thinner one is so much better. On the brows, you have more hair to work with. It's not around the eye area, so you can apply more tint and be able to disperse more on the brows and work at it and create that shape. Okay, so those are our two brushes, our Barista tools, and even your, we got our rose gold ring. So you put that ring onto your finger and you can do the tints, or you have your other Barista tool, which is this black artist palette. So we don't have the white artist palette anymore, the black one, and it fits on your hand. I'm going to show you like that. Okay. Oh, sorry, Shannon. I got her on the nose. So it fits like that, and you can work hands-free. That's the purpose of these tools. Before our artist palette, it was really cute, our artist palette we had before, but we want to have our hands free to be able to maneuver around. Okay. What other services would you offer at the same time as a lash lift? A brow lamination. You can do a brow lamination and lift. So you would, a brow lamination and tint. So you would have to focus your times properly. So in that 8 minutes, because brow lamination, the solution, you can leave a little bit less. It could be between 7 to 8. So if you were going to put the lashes first and have them on for the 8 minutes, and then go to the brows and put on the solution, then you have that 1 minute to remove the solution from the lashes and then go back to the brows and remove the solution. So you're going to have to work your time properly, because you'd want to do a service for them that you can fit all 4 services, which is lash and brow lift, lash and brow tint, and be able to do it in under an hour or so. They don't take that much longer because the solution times are fast, and have a client complete 4 services in that time. They'll be really, really happy, and they'll be put together without needing any makeup. Okay. But also upselling during like a facial, during the mask time. You could be tinting their brows. You can just easy add-on services, RefectoCil, during other services that you're doing. Okay. Shaping. They come in for shaping. Well, let me tint your brows. Will there be tinting today as well? Yes. Yep. There will be tinting. Is there lots of difference between lash lift and lash curl? As I mentioned, the look is more rounded in the curl, so think of a C curl, and the lift is more elongated. It's more length that you're giving to the lashes. They shoot straighter up, so think of L, like L shape. Okay, that's how it's nice to describe your customer. How long does the neutralizer stay on? 5 minutes. We have about 70 more seconds. 6 more seconds till we remove it. So only 5 minutes. The solutions together, the total timing is 13 minutes. And then you have your prep time and your aftercare. So you can do this in a half an hour's time. Depending if it's your first time doing these services, you don't want to rush. So as you get more comfortable, as you get more with the techniques and the tips, you will be doing it a little bit more faster. Okay. How long does it matter? Doesn't matter if solution 2 goes on the tips. If slightly touched it, it's fine because you haven't put the lash perm on it. So if you've gotten a little bit onto it, it's fine. It hasn't been processed with the lash perm, so nothing will happen with the neutralizer. It can't form anything. It's just gonna sit there and not do anything. Okay. Does RefectoCil, I think the 5 minutes is up, right? Yeah, 5 minutes is up. Does RefectoCil have a separate brow lamination kit, or could you use a lash lift solution? Very, very good question. Because a lot of brands out there have a second kit you have to buy, a separate kit you have to buy for brow lamination. Our kit, which is amazing, is dual. You need the lash perm solution and the neutralizer. They're in your lash lift kit, and you already have the brushes, so it is dual. No need for you to go buy another kit. You just have to replenish the solutions because you're going to be going through them faster because now you're using them on brows. So that's awesome. I find that really helpful. You don't have to look for another kit and spend money for another full kit. Okay. Yep, I'm going to do one in July. I'm going to do another live one in July, but the video for now is up on RefectoCil Education for Brow Lift. So check it out there, but I'm going to do another live one. So let me remove Shannon's solution from her eyes. Once again, dry Q-tip. Do not introduce wet yet. Wet is at the end. So dry Q-tip once again and rolling upwards motions. And because just for time savings, I'm going to explain the different method of tinting and why I prefer one over the other. Just give me 1 second. We're going to do this removal. Perfect. We removed that off. Other side. Q-tips will become, I guess, the most supply you're going to be using when you're doing lashes. I don't like to take the cotton around the eye area on the solution because you're spreading so much around. I find with the control of a Q-tip, you're more gentle around the eye area. I know people do rinses. We don't like that method because you're getting everything into the eye when they're doing tinting. I like to use the Q-tip method and less irritation for your client. Okay. So I'm going to explain before we go into the tinting. Yeah, you can cut the roller if it's too long. You can. They're flexible enough to cut because they're cotton pressed. So if the eyes are too small and the cotton roller is too long, for sure, go ahead and cut it. Okay, so before we go into the tinting, I want to explain 2 methods. So people ask me, can we tint directly onto the silicone pad? Sure, because it's obviously going to be easier for you, right? You have the lashes already there. Let me put the tint on. So I'm going to show it that way for you to see because of time that we have. But on the other hand, I don't like doing this method because, first of all, you can't reach the bottom lashes. Mm-hmm. Second of all, the silicone pads get extremely dirty looking, and even though you clean them with the disinfectant, they sometimes leave behind a residue that makes them look, I say, poopy. So it doesn't look really nice. If your customer gets a look at them, they look dirty. So I take that off so I can preserve my pads, not having to use a brand new one because the customer thinks I didn't clean them properly. The third reason is the lashes close to the root are almost kind of hidden with the pad. So if somebody had blonde lashes, if I don't remove the lashes in the silicone pad and do them the regular way with a protection paper underneath the bottom lashes, I can't reach very close to the roots of the hairs. And when you remove the tint, you'll see a definition. You'll see blonde and then dark. So I like to remove the lashes. It only takes 5 seconds. As soon as I put water, the lashes pop off. I can remove it. And then I like to put the the protection paper with a little mask underneath so I can give them an eye treatment. And then I do it the proper way. But we're going to do it on the silicone pad so you can see. Okay. Sorry, which solution did you put on the top of the lashes after you removed number? It was Neutralizer. After number 1 lash perm, step number 2 is Neutralizer. Okay, Monica. Hopefully I answered your question. So let's mix our tint. I am going to do for Shannon blue, black, and black, so I can add more depth. Okay, so I'm going to take my number 2, which is my blue black. Let's not make this go blurry again. Awesome. So my blue black, and my black. You can do equal parts to make your 2 centimeters, okay? So let me mix that in, my nice artist palette. I'm going to show you. So I have my my equal parts, okay? You can see the blue, black, and the black. And I'm going to add my 15 drops of cream. I am using cream on my kit, okay, and my Lash and Brow Bar. So I'm going to add 15 drops of cream. If you're using liquid, 10 drops. Okay, so I've got that in there, and I'm going to do my mixing now. Mix it nice until you get a nice creamy consistency. And I will show you. Don't want to make it too watery, especially that you're working around the eye area. We don't want it getting into the eye. So make sure you don't overdo it with your oxidant drops, okay? If you have a worry about working around the eye area, try and go with the cream solution so you get better consistency and thicker. So I've mixed my blue black and I have a nice creamy consistency. Won't drip on my artist palette, okay? So let's start to apply it. And the timing for the tinting is only 2 minutes. If you were to do a tinting on its own without a lash lift, it takes 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the thickness of the lashes. But because now we've already processed them, the 2 minutes is just enough. And once again, be generous with it. You want it to penetrate into those hairs during that 2 minutes. Okay, so now you can see that the bottom lashes we can't get to. I suppose if we did it the other way, if we removed it, we can. And getting closer to the root might be harder because the tinting too can cause some irritation if they're sensitive. Okay. So I got that on there. I'm just gonna grab a Q-tip because I know I touched. Try and, monitor if you touch the skin, just get it off right away, okay? Everything good so far? Yeah, everything good? Perfect. Okay, and then we do the other side. Natasha, can I ask you a favor to do the 2 minutes? Thank you. Shannon, you feel good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Perfect. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to come back and answer any of the questions as we keep this tint on for 2 minutes. Perfect. Okay. Good. So much easier to work with this artist palette when your hands are nice and free. It's awesome. Okay, so let's see what questions we have. Has the glue... Oh, perfect, Monica. I answered it, right? Did I answer or somebody else answered? Awesome. Someone else answered. Yeah, if the lashes popped off. Okay, so this is why you should do it from the beginning. When you've laid the lashes onto the pad and they're all laid nicely and they're all secured, take the glue and dab it on the top of the center of the lashes and on the tip. Because then when you put the solution, they won't pop off. But if you still had some pop off, remove the solution after the 8 minutes, re-glue them down. Okay? But if you put that security at the beginning, you won't have a whole row of lashes popping off, which will make it so less stressful for you and faster the service. Okay? Has the glue been completely removed from the pads and lashes? No, there's still glue on the back that's holding the lashes. On the top part of the lashes, the glue's gone because it was dissolved from the 2 solutions. But on the back side, the lashes are still resting onto the pad. That's another reason why I don't like doing it on the pad. Okay, tinting. 10 more seconds, perfect, right? Yeah. Yes, you're right, Marley. The tint happens after the pads are removed, but I was just showing for the sake of time as well, because I know a lot of people have to go, people who have working too now. We went overtime due to the camera issues. Could you put Vaseline under the eye to protect the skin and getting colored? We don't like to use Vaseline because it's very comedogenic and it's very oily, and it could be a barrier to the tint if it touches the areas that you're trying to reach. So we like to use our protection cream. I'm gonna get back to the other questions. I just gotta remove the tint because you see how quickly it is. It's only 2 minutes, so it's pretty quick. Let me just see if I can read. So how do you get under the lashes? You would have to remove the whole pad. I was just showing this method for the sake of you to understand the reason why I don't, timing too, but for you to see why I don't like it this way. I like to remove the pads, put the protection papers underneath the bottom of the lashes with a little bit of mask so we can give them an eye treatment, and then do it the normal way that you would do your lash tinting. No silicone pads on in there, okay? How much can we charge for this service? Lash lift ranges from $65, or we can say $70, from $70 to $90 just for a lash lift. If you're going to add a tint, you have to create a combo pricing and give them a $5 to $10 saving. And then up to $125, $130, you can do it all, like your lash lift and your tint. Once you start including your brow lamination, once again, that can probably reach over to $200 easily if you're doing everything completely. Okay, and you notice that your cost, I did a revenue webinar, if any of you sat onto it, and you can see that your cost per supplies are so little, and your timing is fast too for these services. So you get great revenue. Okay. So we can already see how dark they've become. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but I can tell here they've become pretty dark already in that 2 minutes. Okay, dry Q-tip. Remember, dry Q-tip. Very, very important first. I'm going to wait to the other side to have a little bit more, so I'm just going to make sure that there's not a lot of tint before I remove it with water. So once your Q-tip starts to, oh, I just hit myself, sorry. Once you see that your Q-tip is becoming more dry, like less tint on it, less color, then you can start to introduce the water. So I'm going to do the one eye. Just water I use. Okay. And I slightly just, no pressure at all, and they just pop off. Okay, so now you understand how the glue is very water soluble. Okay. And then all I do is hold the pad. It comes off easily. See? But I like to go with the wet. Okay, so let's do the other side. Okay, same thing, dry Q-tip. I do say that I do see why people might want to do it on the silicone pads because it's so much better control you have of the tint not getting into the eye. But you also want to give them good quality, right? So you want to be able to darken all their lashes, bottom, top, by the root. Okay, now we're going to add the water on this side as well. Light little strokes and they just pop up. Hold in the pad and I just go with the water. Any glue that's there. But what I like to do before they open their eyes, because there is some tint still hiding there, I like to wet my pad, fold it in half, place it on their eye, this method too, if the person's feeling at this moment, if your client was feeling some irritation, putting that like that gives them that, like they feel relief. So if they felt a little bit irritated from your removal, just do this. And they feel good. And I like to do this so that I can make sure the tint gravitates towards the water, away from the eyes. And then you just do your cleaning. You can see where you have some tint still. Also get into the corner here because the glue is there. If they try to open their eyes, they might be glued shut. So I tend to get in there too. Okay, we get the other side too. Okay, I'm going to ask Sharon to slowly open her eyes. How are you feeling?
Fine.
Okay. Just to make sure we clean from underneath anything. So their lashes went nice and dark. They were a little bit lighter brown. Perfect. And what you would do now to end your service would be to use your styling gel. I'm doing it the wrong way. Your styling gel. Okay, this is going to protect, condition, hydrate, and just seal in that service of what we just did. Okay, so I'm going to use a disposable mascara wand. So I have a disposable mascara wand, and I'm going to just coat her lashes. As the lashes dry more, the lift will become even more, so they'll probably see it at home become a little bit more dramatic because the hairs have dried. So give me 1 second. So I don't know if you remember before how her lashes looked like, but now we can see that they're shooting straight up. So not to get them wet for 24 hours. No, water is fine. It's the oils. Don't use any oils for 24 hours. And mascara, don't put it until 2 to 3 hours later. Mascara. She wanted to put some mascara on, which she doesn't need to because they look pretty dark. I can see in the screen. She would have to wait 2 to 3 hours. Thank you, Annie. Would you tint the lower lashes? I'm not tinting the lower lashes because you're not supposed to do them with your eyes open. That's why I would, if this is my paying customer, I would not have left the pads on there, and I would have removed the pads and did it the proper way. Yeah, so how does it feel? So as you can see her lashes, it's kind of, we're not too close, but if you look at the eyes here, you see how they're shooting straight up? There's not roundness to them. When it's a curl, they would round in more. So you wouldn't get this length that you see right now. I'm just going to apply a little bit of the styling gel on her bottom lashes just to, they were wet, just to separate them. And this styling gel is a good retail item for your customer to bring home and use. Sorry, did I get your eye? You're okay?
Nope.
Yeah, so now you can kind of tell if this is your first time doing a lift or seeing a lift. You can see how straight they're going straight up more than around. So how do you feel? I don't know if you remember how you saw it before when we had Shannon lay in the bed. They weren't that lifted. They were like they almost shot straight, but not too straight. They had a little bit of her ends had a little bit of a round, had a little bit of a lift more than the rest of her lashes. Thank you, Monica. Awesome. Thank you so much. How long would the lash lift typically last? So the lash lift actually does tend to last the full 6 weeks. It's really good. I've had some that it lasted 8 weeks. But the thing is that your new growth will come out as well. So I'm going to, let's let Shannon get up because she's been laying so long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer my camera. I'm going to connect it. Okay, I'm gonna take my gloves off. Awesome, perfect. Okay, it looked really, really nice. We didn't have a before and after picture to do this side by side, but her lashes went pretty dark as well. And that's the thing, you want to actually do a tint after a lift. Always upsell and always do it together. Do not just do a lift because the tint will show the effect much more dramatic. And now with the summer season, it's so amazing for this service to be waterproof, be able to go to the beach and look well put together, right? Without having to put any mascara or eyebrow fillers or like your penciling, okay? So thank you, everybody. The question about how long it lasts, yes, it can last even up to 8 weeks, but you want your customer to come in between that. You don't want them to wait that long because new growth comes out and then they would look uneven, right? You'll have ones that are lifted and you'll have ones that are starting to grow back to their original way. Where do you find distributors? So if you email me right here in this presentation. So follow us on RefectoCil North America, our main IG page. Also, I have my own as a trainer here at CBON. So Brawista by RefectoCil. Like us on RefectoCil North America. But any questions you have, refectocil.education@cbongroup.com. So I will be able to let you know what distributor in your area because we service all across North America. So we can tell you which distributor the closest to you. So email me at refectocil.education@cbongroup. And also all our webinars get put up onto our refectocileducation.com. So you can watch past ones, you can watch ones that you've missed. I for sure send a recording straight after into the thank you email. So you'll get this, but if there's any other ones you didn't get and you want to watch them, if you want to watch a beard tinting, if you want to watch a bleaching, if you want this, we're in the time of fixing it. Like we're revamping our education website. So you'll see it keep on changing until we get it all done. We didn't want to stop you from going onto it until we fix it. So you can watch these videos, but we're making it more user friendly. We'll have PDF files that you can download. Presentations. So we're going to make it more user friendly for you. Okay. I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much, Mary Beth. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody's attendance today. I appreciate everyone's support. I hope this is something that you can bring into your salon and start doing. Depending on what area you are in, I know in Ontario, we still can't do face services. So I know you're itching to get these lash lifts going. I know you're itching to get a brow lamination going. Brow lamination is so amazing. I love it. I always do it on my brows. I get nice thick brows. So in due time, we'll be able to offer all these services. But I hope your businesses are doing well. I hope you're able to pick up again and start offering these easy add-on service to get motion back into your salon. Okay. Hi from Mexico, Bianca. Miss Mexico. Thank you. I'm jealous of Shannon. Renee, we'll get to you, Renee. Our webinars don't issue any certificates. But in time, when our local distributors get back into the groove and we can start offering classes, there will be certificate classes. But these webinars were just a time in between this COVID. We wanted to do a lot more to have people seeing what they can do with RefectoCil because they had time to be able to watch these webinars, and also troubleshooting. There was a lot of troubleshooting for lash lift. So we wanted to do these webinars. So unfortunately, no certificates, sorry. But I hope that doesn't stop you from enjoying our webinars. We have a green light on July 2nd. Oh, good. Where are you from, Maribeth? Maribeth? Another great job. Yeah. So any questions you have, I can stay for another minute to answer, but otherwise, I know everybody stayed beyond their time. I appreciate that. Sorry about the trouble with the camera, but you're all awesome. That's what I love about doing these webinars. You are all great. And I love the feedback. Tag me in your befores and afters. Tag RefectoCil North America. Tag my Browista. You can even ask me questions on my Instagram too. I tend to get back to it quicker because I want to help everybody, but I appreciate the support and I hope everyone has a wonderful week. And St. Catharines. Oh, awesome. July 2nd. Okay, that's awesome. I know in Ontario, I don't know when yet in Ontario, but you'll be able to start doing these amazing RefectoCil services. Okay, so I appreciate everybody being here and all the best. And until the next webinar, I'd like to hear all your comments in the next one as well. Okay, have a wonderful day. Bye.